Saturday webinar. We are live now, and I'm Max Rempel. I have with me Shakti Hoveth. Hey Shakti, Adriana, Angela Speed, and one more participant. And let me check.
Yakam.
There is playing, and I need to see what's playing. And yeah, it's all good. We are live, and and the last person is Joachim from the space. He actually in Austria, but he has a nice background picture from I think Star Trek or something like that. So should we first do the chants and blessings and then announcements, right? Or
yes.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
Yes.
Should I start? I guess I will start. Okay. Hello everybody. Nice to have everyone. Thanks for coming. And Unahaya Hanna 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 Hulaya Hanna Yana Hanna 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 Unaya Hanna Ulahayanna Abatakataya Ata Aula Katayana Taana A Amataya Uta Ana Hana Ataya Hanna Haya Haya Hanna Hana Hanaya Uya Haya
Do you have the translation?
No translations.
All right, hold on a moment. Follow your heart. The energies of the heart bring all things to you. Follow the mind, for the mind gives you the information needed. All things remain within balance. All things flow. The energy flows up as well as the energy flowing down.
Thank you. Who is next?
Adriana, do you want to do one?
Since you're translating light language, I'll give it a try. That's what I got.
We watch from above. We watch this earth as it is going through its change, not only above surface, but below surface as well. Is there anyone else that would like? Yep. I will do that, and then I will go next, and then I will go right into announcements. Are you all right with that?
Yeah.
Onduro sheshena unkudo waitara. He unuchera akno ushe. Darak unasha. Era uku ushe te ene ichi ira ukudroso. Dura ashasha. Unkuatiara. Unturi sheshe. You cannot fully embrace all that is happening on your planet. But what you can do is send the energies needed in all areas. What you cannot see is the changes in a drastic way, but yet we can. We bring these changes to you so that you can make the changes adjusted. They withheld some of that. All right. Thank you for that. All right, let's go into announcements. Just a quick announcement for those that know Jim. Jim is not feeling well, and we're asking all of those people that know him to please send him some healing energies at this time. Great energy is healing energy is needed for him. Thank you to all the people that are being understanding of him having to reschedule some sessions. The next thing I want to say is as always, visit humancolony.org. That is our website. Jim has his website up now, Jim Charles. It's www.jim-charles.com for his website. And then the new email address that is out is jim@jimcharles.com. Those are informations for connecting in with Human Colony. Thank you for all of our subscribers, and also to email Jim for sessions. All right, with that is all the announcements that I have. Thanks, Max. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing all of this information to us. This information that you are sharing is valuable to all of us about the telepathy information. And thank you for taking the time to do this. I did want to say that.
Wow, thank you. So for those who watch us on YouTube, you can log in at hucolot.org. You can just type it in your browser, and on the top of that page there is a link to Zoom. You just come into Zoom and join us. And I just finished day before yesterday. I finished a big cycle. I submitted my chapters which spell out everything, and now I'm pretty much empty. I feel like a couple hours ago, I feel that I will go into artificial intelligence and computation. That would be the next step. But it's like new moon phase, when the previous cycle ended and the new cycle didn't start. I'm still empty. I just feel that that's coming. So I'm open to. I know a lot, but there is nothing to deliver. Like, I don't have agenda. So if you have any messages or agendas, let's start with that and see where we go. Shakti.
Okay. So I just wanted to introduce myself for people that I don't know yet, but I think of myself more as a student of the Great Mysteries, and I create a YouTube channel where I share my research. And so I like to read a lot of books about ufology, theories about aliens, got very into the telepathy tapes, which is how me and Max connected. And so mostly I'm reading and kind of pulling together my thoughts around psi phenomena, functions of consciousness, the nature of reality. I'm very open to all the different perspectives, and I'm not really attached to one at this point in time. I'm just kind of exploring and learning. So what's going on for me is I recently finished reading Communion, the famous book by Whitley Strieber. And I don't know if all of you are familiar with that book or Whitley's work, but he is a lifelong contactee who has a very unique perspective on his connections with non-human entities or aliens, and it involves a lot of telepathy. And the reason I read this book recently is because he came out with a new book. He's written many books, but he has a new book now called The Fourth Mind, where he goes into more details of his take on the visitors, even down to things like the biology and how they function, more about the telepathy. So that'll be the next on my reading list. And I also picked up this book by Ruth Montgomery. I don't know if anyone has ever heard of this woman or read any of her work, but this is about walk-ins. And I believe most of her research was happening in the 70s. And I'm just very interested in all the different perspectives on the way that consciousness can flow through a human vessel. So all of you are really into channeling. That's one facet of this kind of communication where a consciousness can flow through another vessel, and a walk-in is kind of another spin-off on that idea. And then, you know, there's ideas of like possession or other ways that people feel overtaken when they don't give consent. So I'm kind of exploring that part of the telepathic topic right now, like what it means to be in a body and what it means to be connecting with non-physical entities.
Super cool. Yeah, I know a little bit about everything. I know in person several walk-ins. Usually walk-ins, like the ones I know, two of them have very similar arrangement, I would say, on the soul level. These were ladies which are just a little bit younger than I. I'm 61, so they were like a little younger. And each of them got children. The body got, the first soul got children. One got 4 and another one, I'm not sure how many, but more than one. And then they both sort of nearly died from cancer. And then walk-in came in, a soul, alien soul, and they miraculously recovered. And now the children have their mothers. The children grow up. The children have their mothers. They know it's a different soul, but the body is the same. And there is some of the personality left over. But then the mother goes full way into light work and channeling, chanting, and a lot of other teaching. And so basically, it's just reuse of the body, I would say. These are that kind of walk-ins. And another walk-in was, it's always by agreement. It's always by agreement. At least, as far as I know, it's by agreement. And another walk-in was a switch. One person, he was bothered by the Earth density, and he switched with an alien, so he went into his body, and an alien went into the first person body. Nobody was happy with that switch on the Earth side. Basically, he went into a dark mode, and he disconnected from the previous members of the family. So, but he's alive, body is alive. So that's all I know. So there's a 3 walk-ins I personally know. They don't make secret of that. So that's why I'm talking pretty openly about that.
Yeah, that I've met one person who is openly considers themselves a walk-in, and I've met other people who seem to have had a switch in their body throughout their life. So I don't know if they defined it as walk-in, but I met someone once who told me, like, I remember having this whole different life in this other body, and then all of a sudden I was in this life in this body. I thought that was pretty interesting, you know, because the way that they were speaking about it, I just didn't detect any falseness. So it just felt really true, like that was their experience, and I found that fascinating. And in this book, Ruth Montgomery does talk about exactly what you said, Max, that it's always based in an agreement, and that it's actually like, it's kind of a, you know, they think of it as like a noble way to continue to honor and use these physical vessels, because, you know, she says something like, it's, you don't want to waste a good body, which I thought was kind of funny, but that these different souls do make a plan. You know, the first soul is carrying out certain karmic agreements or whatever, and then they don't need to be there any longer. They have other things to do or other lessons to learn in a different form or way. And then the other walk-in soul doesn't need the childhood experience. They're more of an evolved soul. Their lessons have nothing to do with the things we go through as you're growing up in a human body. And so they come in fully, you know, fully conscious and fully formed later on to carry out their purpose and their tasks.
Yeah, at some point, I think it was a while ago. It was around 2018. So it's 7 years ago. Jim and I got, at about the same time, we got a new higher self each. That was funny. That was again by agreement. I didn't mind. the old higher self didn't go anywhere. It just the new one kind of started driving, and the old one, I guess, gets on the passenger seat, on the back seat, and once in a while give comments what's happening. But yeah, it's like a body is a car, and it's driven by some alien or a spirit or some other entity. And we changed a lot. Jim changed a lot. I changed a lot. And it's by agreement. I can go back to the old higher self. I can go to the new higher self. It was intentional, continuous, everyday decision. Hey, higher self, I'll let you drive. And no, I disagree with you. I drive now, like Max down here. Oh, sorry. Now I give up. You drive. So that dialogue is happening all the time. It resembles me. If you remember Fiddler on the Roof, there is Tevye the milkman, and he always talks to God when he is like a driver on this side, and God is making mischief. So that model is valid somewhat, but I use the other model where I don't know who is giving mischief. I think I consider them just a second. I will come close. So I consider them to be a team of screenplay writers, like TV series writers. So that kind of writers, and I think they're pretty. How do you say? I'm not very happy with them. Like if they want to say something to me, instead of speaking or giving me messages, they just break my computers and electronics, and I don't like that. I think it's just they have very poor imagination. They still stop me from doing things, but just kind of it doesn't look pretty. It looks old-fashioned, I would say.
So I know of two walk-ins, and one of them is my cat.
Mhm.
Apparently the rules for cats is are a little different, but yeah, and talking, I've had my higher self channeled, and cats do this walk-in thing a lot more than we do. The other walk-in I know is she was my best friend. She had a lot of mental health problems, and she went into the hospital for it. When she came out, she was not the same person. And she was just very negative and angry to the point that it broke our relationship of 30 years. So it can go different ways.
Yeah, that's
I-
interesting. Oh, just that you mentioned the mental health issues and going into the hospital and then having that transition, because I've thought a lot about the different circumstances that could trigger this type of experience when maybe it wasn't totally a preloaded agreement, but then for whatever reason, the original soul starts to they start to exit before, before their time for different reasons. So like I think people can start to give up some autonomy when, for example, they get really, really heavy into like certain substance abuse, or sometimes it could be triggered by a mental health issue. But then I just wonder, it's all speculation, but I just wonder if there are kind of other souls ready to come in, and they don't want to come into like a brand new body, and they start to kind of line up for that opportunity, and they start to try to get in sometimes. And I think there's a little crossover period for some people where maybe they're feeling multiple souls or consciousness units within one body for a while, which can be also perceived as a mental health condition in some cases. I mean, again, I'm thinking mostly about things I've observed, experienced, and people that I know and things that they've gone through, and just trying to kind of wonder about what are all the possibilities that might be going on at a cross section, like, or like a crossroads in somebody's life like that,
Yeah. I think you're right that, there are a variety of circumstances, and I don't know that it's always completely consensual, because you have to ask, how able is that soul to consent? In the case of my former BFF, I know she didn't want to be on the earth plane anymore. She had, yeah, she was just really desperate and struggling. And I know that if she had been completely with it, she would have not allowed this particular soul to come in and take her place. She would have chosen a more kind, positively oriented soul.
That's interesting. And, so the reason why I think this all relates to telepathy is because I've been thinking of telepathy in terms of the psychic perceptions that go beyond just like communication in the way we think of communication here on Earth, which is more of a verbal transmission of thoughts that are formed in a certain way. I think that in terms of some of the psychic abilities that we all have the potential to access, there's this kind of version of telepathy that's more about sensing and feeling a perspective. It's almost like a silent knowing, and it's not quite a transmission of like words in the way that we talk to each other. And I think that when a soul is sharing space with another soul, that's a version of, it's almost like a kind of telepathy. So it's like, I think that there's a kind of like channeling, or kind of pairing consciousness that can occur at times where you're getting an overlay of another soul's perspective. So, like, for example, I could still be in command of my body. I'm the one that's choosing what I want to say, but maybe something else comes in for a minute and starts adding their flavor to the mix or their perspective. I can perceive it. It's up to me whether what I want to do with that, whether or not I'm going to transmit what I'm picking up from that or push it away or like let it take the driver's seat, like Max was saying. So yeah, I'm just curious if we think that this is a whole separate thing from the telepathic conversation, or maybe there's something to it where we talk about we want to practice telepathy or learn telepathy. It's like maybe we want to learn subtle perception and the ability to share perception with other consciousness units, you know?
I think you make a really good point and raise a good question. That bit about seeing the overlay of two souls. I definitely saw that happen initially with my ex-BFF, where all this horrible stuff would come out, and then there'd be this moment, and I'm like, oh right, that I recognize you, you're a kind person. And it was very confusing to watch, to be able to sort out what is the other soul versus what is just mental health issues. My cat, however, was very good at sorting it out, because he would hiss at her when it wasn't her. Yeah, that's all.
I just wanted to thank you for that. Um, I just wanted to share in, like, there's a lot of times that my higher self and we have a conversation, and I say to her, listen, if you have something to say that you can say better than I can say it, I give you permission to just speak it. And there's been times where I work with young children, and there would be times I completely finished a whole sentence, a whole statement. I deal with children in crisis, and there was a whole statement that as soon as it was over, I'm like, thank you very much for that. I need to listen to my own words, because wow, that was some good stuff. I even like just said out loud to the student, I really need to listen to my own words, because they were right on, perfectly said to that student. But it's the collaboration that I have with my higher self. It's the collaboration. My higher self will say, Angie, we have that communication where it's, I know it's not me because I wasn't thinking, so I know we have that telepathic communication. So, I mean, that's just the information that I wanted to share, that having that telepathic communication is very, very important.
I love that you used the word collaboration. Oh, Max, are you trying to talk? Were you saying something? We couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
You go
I
ahead.
don't know. Collaboration. Right. Somehow I'm thinking about Jim. So Jim being sick. Um, Lately friends get in life-threatening sicknesses and ask me to send them Reiki energy, Reiki healing energy, and I do. Right. And I connect to that body, and sometimes it hurts to connect. Right. And sometimes I kind of meditate on that, and I go into sometimes, like, especially at night or big meditation, like several hour meditation. I go meditate, and I try to work on karma, and figure out what's the karmic healing, what's the karmic lesson, and what can be done there. So should they interfere at all? Maybe everything goes as needed, right? So that's, and same with me. Like when it's life threatening for me, maybe it's better time for me to leave or to stay. I usually kind of play. That's how I drive my car, by the way. I barely touch the steering wheel, and I barely press the gas. It goes by itself, and I steer only when needed. So I like recently, someone was driving my car. I was in a car seat, and they push really hard. They kind of go stop with effort, and start with a lot of energy. And I'm kind of hands off much of the time. So the same thing with healing, my self healing and healing of others. My approach is to um, see if everything flows by itself. And sometimes I can see, look, like there is a pattern here of the flow, and if we connect that to that, it becomes more harmonious, and then it makes sense. Like bringing harmony by aesthetic situation, and suffering is usually just usually not very pretty. So that kind of harmony is aesthetic preference, I would say. We still have free will, and we can use free will, but very often it is for me the prayer, which is, hey guys, you know what you're doing. Here is Jim. Pay attention to that, right? Pay attention. Look at that. We would enjoy him. We would respect his preference to get sick or to die, but we would enjoy his company. He is fun to be with. So that kind of my prayer. And also, like, if he wants to recover, why hey guys, maybe there is a way to negotiate several more years or many more years.
Right.
For me, I did that negotiation super frequently. Like many times in my life, I do renegotiation and say, yeah, I can die, but here is a project. Would you like me to do that project?
All right.
And
Everyone, Max, everyone has free will. That's the choice. That's what God gave us. God gave us the choice of free will.
mhm.
So, but we as healers can send that energy. He can bring it in, and he can do whatever he wants with that energy, that healing energy that he's receiving. But we as the healers, we don't have to judge, we don't have to go into his karma, we don't have to do anything along that line. We lovingly send the energies to him. 100% choice is his. So as a healer, you as a healer, you don't, whatever it is that karmically that he's going through, if he chooses, if the choice for him is, I mean, he's nowhere near that, but if his choice is to return home, then that is all on him. But as I hear what you're saying, I hear what you are saying, and it is that you want to look at it Karmically, everything is, all of that is through him.
All right. I have a few things to say, but Adriana, go ahead.
So my experience with Reiki and people or beings who are in dire straits in terms of their health is that they can accept it or not. So it's like praying for someone. They can accept the energy or not. But B, if they do, it can ease their passage no matter what the outcome is. So if whatever their outcome is meant to be, sending the energy will help them get there. There have been cases where someone sent Reiki to a dying cat and wanted to help the cat live, but what it actually did was made the death easier and quicker and less painful. So it's beneficial no matter what you do.
Great, yeah. So, Shakti, do you want to say anything?
I do have a thought about this because I've also studied Reiki, and I'm also very, I guess, impressed by this theory that Tom Campbell has about the nature of reality. I think I've mentioned him before, but I'll show you the book. It's this book, My Big Toe. It's a big book. But this is someone who, toe is theory of everything, of course. He studied with Bob Monroe at the Monroe Institute for 30 years doing science on the out-of-body experience. And then he developed a theory because his background is in astrophysics. So he had a scientific mind, but he also had a very spiritual experience. And he talks about modifying future probabilities through intent. And so when it comes to healing practices of all kinds, Tom Campbell's theory about it is that what we can do is we're just modifying the future probability. So for example, if someone is sick and you want to bring them back into wellness, the more units of consciousness that use their free will to modify that future probability by sending energy or envisioning a positive future, they do have a real impact on it. And that's why all the different healing modalities work. It doesn't matter what kind you do. It doesn't matter the protocol, although different ones have different efficacy based on how much energy people have put into them throughout time. So like certain systems of healing can build up a lot of power. Here's the book again. So, because somebody asked in the chat. But anyway, I think what's interesting about this idea is that when it comes to modifying future probabilities, there's so many factors at play. So there is like all of this chaos in reality, and entropy that is contributing to this situation. And we're kind of fighting against that with our intent and our free will. And there's a lot we can do, but every once in a while, as we all know, if you're a healer of any kind, it just doesn't work. And then you just wonder, why didn't this time work? What happened here? And sometimes I think it's what you're all saying. There's a different plan or a purpose at play that we can't see and we are not powerful enough to interfere with. So I think it's always worth it to do our best and send all the energy and try everything. And I think that is most of the time going to have an impact. And every once in a while, when it doesn't, at least for me, I assume that there is some kind of higher reason for that. And then you say, okay, that's what it was, you know?
Yeah, I agree that
Max, you're muted. Thank you.
Go ahead, Adriana, go ahead.
I agree. That's in line with what I was saying of we send the energy and then it's up to God, the higher self or whatever, what happens to it. But it does ease their path, whatever their path is meant to be.
I just wanted to invite Joachim to speak a little bit if you want to, on that topic or any other topic.
Actually, I'm quite listening, so I'm quite interested in those topics. So for me, it's fine right now. Thank you.
All right. What I wanted to, it's a huge topic. I'm kind of contemplating to teach another Reiki class on Reiki master level.
But maybe,
and there is so much.
Sorry for interrupting you, but maybe I would like to say one thing. As I'm also connecting to other people on a higher level, I would always if I do something for somebody else, I will ask my higher self if I'm allowed to do so. So this is the only thing I do, because if I don't ask and if it's not allowed for whatever perspective, I will get it back somehow. So on a maybe not so nice way. So if I send some energy or do something else on other bodies, I would, and if I'm not allowed to do so, I will feel it in my own body. So what the other person has.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm contemplating, not yet planning to teach another Reiki master level lesson class, and there is so much to teach. But one of the approaches is to realize that you and Jim, I and Jim, is the same higher energy. It's all made of one consciousness. There is so my model now is that there is a universal consciousness. It splits itself into outside world and a human, but it's the same consciousness. And each other human is just another fraction division of universal consciousness in the small leaves or branches. But at the some level, all humans are one. All humans are one body with 2 legs, 2 eyes, and 2 hands. So at that level, it's like over soul, over archetype of human. We are all one person. So, and from that perspective, healing someone is to heal yourself. So like for some people, I don't enter their body, but for some people, I just kind of walk into their body and I feel myself inside their body. So that's one of the ways. And my approach as a researcher and a scientist is to go everywhere, look around, sniff all the corners, and then talk to everyone. So you can talk to your higher self, you can talk to Jim. What does he want to talk to? Jim's higher self, all your spirit guides, all his spirit guides, and his big toe, any part of his body. They all have their own opinions, their DNA, their proteins, everything, water, everything has their own free will. So it's a big state or tribe. It's a big tribe or family. It's a big family. So once you understand what's going on, then it becomes kind of obvious, right? Then you can make your informed choice. Right. So yeah, that's one of the approaches. But what is key here is a focus of attention. Where is your focus of attention? So you can go elsewhere to Jim, or you can go elsewhere inside yourself in the center, and you will meet him anyway there. So whatever you do, you're healing the situation. By disconnecting, you're also healing the situation. But by paying attention, you get more involved, and then whatever happens. And then after a session, at some point it becomes clear that everything is resolved. You did what you needed to do, and there is nothing else to do. You can go. So that in Reiki session, it's quite straightforward. You can go anytime, and you say, I stay a few more minutes just to make sure, and then you go. So it's a very intuitive process, but where your attention goes. Another thing which I very often do when I'm lost, I switch to relationship of a grandmother and grandchild. I'm a grandmother, and how do I treat that person as a grandchild? Non-sexual, just a baby. So even if it's an older person, still I treat them as a baby, and that's like nurturing. I turn on my nurturing side. But there is a lot of ways to do the healing. So, Hannah, anyone, anywhere?
So I've got a question for Yohim and yourself, Max. What's he was saying that if he sends energy for healing, say someone's knee, that it'll come back, and it's not right. that it'll come back and he'll wind up with knee pain. And I never experienced that. So I'm just wondering what the difference is in what we're doing.
Actually, it's not sending energy. Actually, it's like cleaning body, cleaning energy out of the body, or something like that. So, for example, if you have back pain or something like that, I can see your spine, and I can see if there is some energy blocked there. And if I don't ask if I'm allowed to help here, I can feel it in my own back, in my own spine, where I get some pain then afterwards if I'm not allowed to do so.
Right. Okay. Now I get the difference. Thank you.
That's so interesting because I have that same issue, but with emotional pain. And I need to learn how to not scoop out someone else's negative feeling and then put it into myself. It sounds similar to what you're saying, but maybe I never considered it as like, oh, you're not supposed to do this. But recently I've had this experience twice now where I got hit with a wave of really intense negative emotion, inner pain and turmoil, very specific flavor. Like I was almost processing like this certain arc of feelings that came out of the blue. And then a day or an hour later, I'll talk to a friend on the phone or someone that I'm close to. It happened with two different people that I'm close to, and they'll tell me their whole story of what they're going through. And I'm like, oh, I preloaded that knowing I experienced your whole experience. I didn't tell them this, but I thought it to myself the day before. And it's like, I think this is part of telepathy that I want to learn to clean up a little bit, because what's happening is the people I care most about, who I love so much, it's like I'm unconsciously processing their emotions for them as a way of understanding them because I'm connected to them, but it doesn't feel productive. I don't know if it's helpful or good. It really drains me. Like it's very difficult, and I don't know if it's actually what it's doing for them. I'm not sure. So I'm curious if anyone had a thought like on this, or advice or any experience with that type of thing.
Yeah, I started researching specifically autists, and there is a whole culture of neurodivergence, which means being abnormal, and there is severe autism, non-functional, non-speaking. They call it non-verbal, but non-verbal is outdated because non-speaking autists, they don't speak vocally, but they speak telepathically, but you can say non-verbal. And there is a culture of functional autists, and some of them are pretty talented. So, and there is a lot of different types of autists. It's not one thing, and I understand that these are different types of alien hybrids. And autists from Pleiades with domination of Pleiadian genes would, again, there are different Pleiadians, but so like Erran Pleiadian genes, or Mayan Pleiadian, or Taran Pleiadian, or Nordic Pleiadian, or tall white Pleiadian, blue Pleiadians. Lakesh Pleiadians, reptilian Pleiadians. So there is a lot of Zeta. Zeta is very recognizable, and Arcturian, reptilian, and many others. So, but one of the things is openness, that super sensitivity, and closing that super sensitivity, extra sensitivity is tough. Like Prozac, I tried Prozac, very tiny amount, 1/3 of the minimum dose, like 3 milligrams. And to me, it blocks me. I become happy and blocked. I don't feel anything. And for me, it looks like, what's the point then? If I'm disconnected, then there is no. It blocks everything. I'm landing in my body. Coffee and cigarettes also land me in the body, but so essentially, it's always a balance. How much do you open and how much do you close? Some people are happy they like have very strong filters. And for me as a researcher, like the whole point of being here is to find out things. And to find out things, you have to listen, see, feel, perceive. So, and when you want to perceive something very subtle, you have to really like turn the volume sensitivity, the gain, it's called the gain dial to maximum until there is just enough noise. So somewhere on the level of noise, you get the signal. So for me, it's like it's a daily exercise to turn it up, and then when you're overwhelmed, try to turn it down. But turning it down is for me hard. Is hard. So that super sensitivity is a hallmark signature of at least function. Any I think lots of autists are super sensitive, and that's why they behave so strangely, because the waves just overwhelm them. So like that hit in the head again, like hitting your head is desensitizing. So it's called steaming. When you stimulate yourself, it's desensitizing because the signal is too loud. So now finally, when I get the permission, social permission, there is a lot of us now, I happily put earmuffs everywhere and dark glasses and earmuffs. I desensitize myself at least from sound and light. Although I stumble upon things, so I have to at least I have to look around. So not complete darkness, but hit myself. But desensitizing is huge. I will give microphone to others. Anybody?
I can agree with all of that. I think a lot of people are falling somewhere on that spectrum of hypersensitivity. I remember there was a book a while back called something about HSPs, highly sensitive people, was a common term for a while also that was being thrown around. And I learned something about that recently, which is that, at least according to this one healer, she thought that HSPs do have genetic differences. So it's not just about a sensitive soul. It's actually about, yeah, there is something going on in your physical self that causes you to perceive more of the data of reality, you know? And I feel that because I have like smell sensitivity where I just have really strong sense of smell. Yeah, Angela, you have it too. And it's crazy
Yep,
because
yep.
you know, if you go to a big city like New York and it just smells like human life in a really overwhelming way, like there are good, exciting smells, but there's so much stench to it. You know, you can smell all the bodies in the density of people. And like there's so many places like that where I just get completely overwhelmed with the smell data in a place or like meeting people. And okay, we all have that, it sounds like, because I see in the chat.
Yeah, I grew up in Moscow.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, just grew up in public transportation in Moscow. Like we are packed there. Like in metro, you like actually push yourself in a bus. You push yourself, and then they close windows.
Yeah, and it's of course like it's a good analogy to the telepathy because when you walk out, like when I walk out into the desert, maybe it just rained a little bit and I can smell every beautiful plant that's growing, even though they're spread really far away from each other, or I can pick up on like the mountain air, even though I'm down in the valley, like it's coming, you know, there's different, you can get the sensitivity of the good things with the bad, and you can't really filter out, you can't stop smelling the bad stuff. And I really think I'm starting to accept that that may be the case with other consciousness sensitivities that we develop, like that awareness that you're talking about, Max, that you use as an experimenter and a researcher in life. You're tuning yourself to a higher frequency so that you can pick up on more and learn and experience. I think I'm always doing the same thing. So I am very highly tuned to the emotions of the people around me and the hidden motivations. So it's like, it's not exactly the thoughts that they're thinking in a word way, but it's always the truth underneath the words or the thing behind the mask. I'm always hyper tuned into that.
And the thing is with that, Shakti, is this. That is the foundation and basis for telepathy, because we are not reading the minds of the people. we are reading the intentions. That's what it is to have that full understanding of what telepathy is we understand the intentions that they have. We don't know what's in their mind, but we can definitely read the intentions. And that is that first level or understanding of telepathy. People who are sensitive to that. So you're sensitive to the emotions of the people, and then that next level is the understanding of the um, intentions of the people. Then that next level, even higher than that, is can you read the energy? Not so much like you can sense, wow, that person, ooh, they've got a lot of, they've got a lot going on there, like um um that's that next level. That's that next level. I am all of those levels, and like, and you can't shut it off. There's always the positive with, you're always going to be able to read and feel that those energies of those people, like you said, you can't shut it off. It is what it is.
So I'm a person that has HSP as a result of having Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a genetic condition. And there are actual structural genetic differences in the brain and body. And one of the ways it affects me is proprioception, which is understanding where my body is in space. But that also happens on an energetic level. For example, if you're walking, you suddenly get the feeling that, there's a whole bunch of space in front of you and not to step forward because you're going to fall flat. We've all had that experience. So it can happen in that way, but it also does happen in terms of certain things being more turned up. Like Max, you mentioned sound and having to manage how much stimulation you get. However, on the other side, I've also met people where there is a deficit. For example, people who have a lot of trouble reading social cues. It's like there's this unwritten language of energy and whatnot, and mood that I've been told that they just don't get. That's what I got to say.
Yep. It's a combination of super sensitive and completely blind. Yeah. We just fell from the moon, I guess. I'm certainly very clumsy, and sometimes I'm lost, and that's one of the autistic traits which I discovered. It's just frequency of screw ups, how frequently you mess up, make errors. In my case, it's just I'm used to making errors very frequently, so I just, on some things I just give up. Some tasks are completely impossible. I cannot fill out a form by hand, so I scan it, I type it, because every one of the few letters would be an error, and if I just try to write it by hand, it would be so many corrections. And that's I guess is programmed in me by being an explorer. I constantly get lost, and as I get lost, I run fast to find my way. So when I travel, I get lost, I run around and I learn the whole area. So that's and when I'm lost, when I make an error, I think that my higher self and guides, they drive. So they make me to, they force me to make those errors, and this way they affect what's happening. So because of the errors, lots of things are happening, and I learn a lot of lessons, and I'm just kind of used to that, and I don't blame myself for making errors. But now I'm like going out looking for people to speak about telepathy, and when I find a victim, I start speaking to them about telepathy, but they send me telepathic messages. They don't want to speak about telepathy and aliens, and and I'm blind to that. So that's a contradiction in terms. Instead of feeling what they want, I dump on them my it's called special interest. Like autists are famous for having special interests, and I'm obsessed with aliens, DNA resonance research, alternative healing, and telepathy now. So I'm like, people just run away now from me. Like actually, they physically run away. I mean, they don't run; they walk. They walk away.
I have that same thing, Max. Special interest of like being obsessed with these topics. And so it's kind of like, I could talk about it all day with people. And it's the most interesting thing.
Like last week, 2 groups just walked away from me. That was just, I'm getting used to that. I'm getting used to that. But so who didn't walk away from me was I went to a swimming pool, autistic society, I think, autistic something society. They do monthly swimming pools before pretty much open to anyone, but that's open especially attended especially by autistic non-speaking or pretty severe autists with their usually parents. So there was the whole pool, about 30 non-speaking out. Some of them are speaking, extreme autists with parents, and I sort of came there, and I thought that they might show me a way, like they wouldn't let me in, but I didn't even have to pretend to be an autist. They when I looked at the mirror, I'm pretty well qualified. So so I just sat there and meditated, and using headphones because it was too loud. But what was nice, there was no music. It was so great. It was like pretty quiet, and I felt the energies. It's I didn't hear any telepathic messages. I'm hoping that finally they will come through and they will start talking to me, but they didn't.
So
Okay.
I've found a different way to cope with all the stim coming from other people, because I do pick up on their emotions and whatnot. And some people I'm really keyed into if I'm close to them. And first of all, I can hear what they're not saying. It's like they're speaking, but there's another level that doesn't come out in words. And I listen very carefully for that. But that's also something I've practiced. And how I got there was learning to have a really strong center of calm that I sit in and let everything go by me, kind of like the wind. It's like I feel it on me, but it doesn't come into me. And that takes energy. So I can only do it for so long. But, it also conserves a lot of my energy and allows me to respond instead of react to things.
Adriana, just in case you don't know, your camera is off, but maybe you intentionally turn it off. Anyway, I wanted to, like, one of my discoveries recently was that higher states, higher meditative states, altered states require a lot of coherence, inner biological coherence, not necessarily cultural, but cultural too, like mental, emotional, but also pure biological coherence, like clean, strong energy coming from inside and making your whole body vibrate with the same frequency, pure biophysical coherence. And that coherence is coming from DNA, because DNA is in every cell, nearly in every cell, in most of the cells, and it has the same sequence in every cell. So that is inner seed of coherence, and it is opposed by the information that comes from outside, from air, electromagnetic, light, food, and social media, and all other sorts of communications. And obviously the collective consciousness field. So from that perspective, you like meditation is normal to isolate yourself. But then if you isolate yourself too much, there is no point of living on the planet. Then you are not experiencing the planet, so there is no point. So there is an optimal amount where you are coherent inside, but then you go out and be with people. And so DNA is a source of coherence. And another thing I discovered was that, especially for me, I'm designed very incomplete. I need people. I feel better with people. And I just, okay, it's discovered from 2 days ago. I am actually, my second chakra is active, and that's one of the most driving chakras. So I really need, I'm driven by the energy of the people. So that's what I found. And now I'm kind of trying to make sense of that. How do you actually make it work? How do you balance the need for coherence and the need for people? And, you know, I wish it was people who are, I'm needing that people. And what I'm getting is not what I expect, actually. I get a lot of disagreement from that. Why is that? Why can't I attract someone who is someone or some people who would synergize? Yeah, I would see the synergy. That's what I need. I remember in the past there was synergy. Where is synergy now? Where did it go? Maybe you guys are synergizing. Hey. But I want physical right here.
Yeah, do you mean with synergy, like when you're with people, everything just feels like there's a mutual understanding, maybe a mutual excitement and good energy flowing back and forth?
Flow,
Yeah?
action. I want action, actually.
Like
I
what
want
is
action.
that?
I want money. Money.
So like you want material synergy where things are flowing in that way where you're succeeding in the material realm? Is that what you mean?
Not necessarily. It could be virtual money, but some action, I mean, there is so much opportunity on the planet, and how to make the difference. The main obvious path is ascension. The main obvious path is disclosure and landing of the aliens and meeting our grandchildren, hybrid children. And this morning it became very clear to me that my role is actually computational to continue discovering the vibrational code of the genome. But I want action. I want other people to be involved. It's not only me like doing that on the backyard. I want others to be involved. Action. So money is just a measure, contemporary measure. It doesn't have to be money, but actual influence. Yeah, power grabbing.
I know what you mean. It makes sense. I mean, I think that's what most people are like wanting in some way or another, you know? And it feels like I think the reason for that is because in this reality, that is a sort of measure of success, even if it is spiritual success, even if it's like I'm on the right path, doing the right thing, things are connecting. Like we look at people who have that and say, "Oh, why couldn't I be that?" Kai Dickens, who made the Telepathy Tapes podcast, she said before she made that podcast, she had set an intention in her life that the next thing she did, she wanted it to be really meaningful, really powerful work that was going to serve a lot of people. But also, that work was really popular, and that work really, it not just served people, but it also served her because it opened more opportunities for her and it created more connections. So maybe that's the kind of thing you're talking about a little bit.
Oh, a lot of bit. Yeah. So I don't know what's the point. I can meditate elsewhere. I need some action. Go ahead.
So, something you may find is speaking of action, one of the things I've been working on in my life is a cure for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is part of how I got involved in DNA and genetics. I spoke to Archangel Raziel saying, can you please give the people who, because right now there is no genetic test for my genetic disease. And the problem is that the energy signature of it is a rare energy signature. And so the people who are looking for this DNA energy signature are looking for the wrong thing. And I'd be happy to give you more information. If you want to be the person to discover that, I will load you up. There's definitely money to be had in curing EDS.
I'm open. Let's
We'll schedule a private time.
yeah. My approach to I crunch a lot of problems these days much faster with AI. So basically, it's would be a conversation between me, AI, and you, and we will just look at that.
Yeah.
If I load into my chapters, they already have the background, and then the AI can help framing the conversation.
That would be amazing.
Sure.
It'd be cool to just see what we can find out from each other.
Sure. Yep.
I saw
Switching-
that
Go ahead.
in the chat, Joaquin put something really interesting. Do you from Bashar? Do you want to read that out loud, or do you want us to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you can read it. Thank you.
Okay, it says the rules. I think this is referring to what Max and I were just talking about, how to create that flow and get into that action. Number 1 says follow your passion, excitement, and resonance to the best of your ability. Number 2 is do this until you can't do it anymore or it becomes replaced by something else of higher passion. Number 3 is do this with absolutely zero insistence on what the outcome is supposed to be. That's the hardest part, I think. And number 4 says remain in a positive state no matter what manifests so that you can always get the benefit from it.
Yeah, I listen to Bashar a lot. He's right. Sasani Shakanya, great. I had honor to speak to Bashar when he came through gym. So he popped in. He intentionally made sure not to deliver any other information, but he said hi. So he just came to say hi, and the energy was there. So cool. Yeah, but there is lots of complexity behind that. Obviously, yeah.
When you go ahead.
One of their latest topics is just last 20 hours is taming. It goes far back, but taming is the key word. So we are tamed, we are civilized, and that blocks energies. We have now a puppy, a golden puppy, a dog, a little dog, and this dog is wild. She wants to fight, she wants to bite, she wants to climb everywhere, pee everywhere, and dominate everybody. And we are taming her because we are civilized. We want the house to be in one piece and not peed all over. So we are taming her, and also I want quiet, and she barks. And she barks when it's completely quiet. When I'm meditating, she would bark all the way. So is it me coming in the form of a dog to wake myself up, or what is happening? Anyway, so we are tamed. We are now civilized. We behave nicely. We are quiet, but that blocks the life energy. So Nim Karoli Baba was untamed. He was pretty wild. He was moving with the energy flow all the time. And his favorite ways, his mantra was "Go away." Yeah, and he was cursing all the time. He spoke Hindi in a very obscene way, and he would be pretty free, and he would run around, never stopping, always on the road, and tricking people. He was tricking, and it's like a trickster archetype. But that's the incarnation of Hanuman, incarnation of very high energy. So I guess that's where from I'm learning. So learning that there is nowhere to stand. Basically, you can't really be yourself by taming yourself. You have to actually embrace the contradiction and imperfection. That's the name of my chapter: imperfection as a basis of life. You can't really be perfect. You can't really bring perfection into into life on this planet, because it's the if you go down into the atomic level, imperfection is right there. It's all the way from the quantum physics all the way to macro. Imperfection and contradiction is everywhere. So you have to live with this dance and dance it. Basically, be yourself. Right.
So for me,
And
that
what
means
is yourself?
everything
I don't know.
perfect.
Yourself is an illusion. So be something. Be a dance.
Yeah. So for me, it sounds like everything is perfect, even if you think you're not. Yeah. Andrew, you're muted. I think I can hear you. Or maybe
1,
it's
2,
on
3.
my side.
Oh, Angie, you're muted.
Yes. Can you
Now
hear me?
you're good.
Okay. What I really wanted to say is I really wanted to touch on the fact that when you do anything outside of you, whether you're sending healing, whether you're giving information, whether you are doing something to help someone, if you truly can release yourself from the outcome of what it is that you're doing, then the intention of what you're doing is greater. Because if you're saying something, if you're trying to convince someone of whatever thought you have, if you release if you can say, all I can do is bring this information forward. All I can do is send this information. I do not attach myself to the outcome in anything that I do, because if I attach myself to the outcome, then I'm trying to put in or influence someone else, and you can't do that. You can't influence that person. The only thing that you can do is give the information, give the healing. It is up to the individual that is outside of you to take it in, to apply it to their life, to accept the healing. That's all you can do, because you're like, oh, I wish you would listen to me. Well, you can't say that. You can't do that. All you can do is listen. I can give you my opinion. I can give you my healing. I can do it. It's up to you to accept that. And when you can do that, when you can say, I'm not attaching myself to the outcome, it's actually a little bit of a relief from you, because whether they bring it in, whether they take that healing, the information, this is the thing about information. You can bring information in. Max, you can present information. If that feels right to me, I'm going to bring it in. You can't attach the information to my outcome. You can't, because either I'm going to bring that information in and I'm going to say, okay, all right, that resonates, that feels good. Okay, yep, I'm bringing it in. Yeah, that doesn't feel so right. But thank you for giving me that. I'm not going to say that out loud, but I'll say thank you for giving me that information. If it doesn't resonate, then it's up to the other individual whether they're going to bring it in or not. So when you can truly detach yourself to the outcome of anything that you're doing, it doesn't matter what it is that you're doing. If you can completely detach yourself to the outcome, what you are giving then comes 100% from the heart, and that's it. That's all Angie has to say, because that's how Angie lives her life.
I like that. I think, oh, Max, are you
Go
talking?
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I think it reminds me a lot of the teachings around manifestation. And I think you're right, but I will say that I have such a hard time with manifestation teachings because they always say, like, kind of like, don't focus too hard or don't cling to the outcome. Don't, um, it's like, it's this conundrum because you want the thing, the desire's real. That's what propels you in the first place. But if you clamp down on the desire, you can block the manifestation according to these rules. And I really struggle with that. I really do. And my sister will tell me, like, you're a great manifester because she's seen all these great things happen in my life, and it's true. But then equally, there's been the same amount of things that I've tried really hard to make happen that didn't happen. So it's like sometimes when I'm not looking or when I'm not thinking too hard about it, yeah, it's true. These things do happen for me. But it's frustrating because there's other things that I really want to make happen, and I don't know how to let go of that feeling of that sort of the pain that comes with the desire or the pain that comes with not having what you desire. It's such a tricky thing for me. I'm not good at that, I don't think. And I'm so skeptical of manifestation teachings too because of that, because I'm like, it doesn't seem logical that, there's no consistency here. It's hard for me to pin down what are the laws or the rules when it comes to this because it seems to be all over the place in my own experience.
Right, manifestation teachings, exactly. So just recently, it happens all the time, synchronicities, but this was flipping through Facebook uh, feed, and there is something, I don't remember exactly what it was. I wish I remembered, but somehow it disappeared. There was some sort of message there, a video, and then there was a pretty unobvious logic going between Russian and English, which ended up with some word which was unconventional. I don't remember which word it was. Suppose it was an umbrella. And then you flip next, and next image is that umbrella, and the text umbrella. It was completely impossible to go from the previous one to the next one unless it went through my mind and back, because no one else in the universe would connect these two things. Which means that that is an illusion. I'm an illusion. Everything is an illusion. It's some sort of linguistic program which runs itself, which comes back to the manifestation idea. So one of my friends keeps reminding me that the only thing we have control of is the focus of attention. The main manifestation approach is to focus the attention on certain things. But then I don't know what to focus on. To me, the approach is like natural approach is research, understand, research, understand, research, understand. And now I'm searching for autists, for people of my kind who are on the same path to do things together. I want, like, that's a mantra of Krishna Das. He said, then he was at a crisis, which was a turning point for him. Then he realized he needs to sing together with people, not by himself, but with people. And I guess that's for me. I want to do research with people. Still on my topic, which is deciphering the vibrational code of the genome, but with people. So that's kind of a realization which is sort of kind of obvious, but I'm looking for my kind of autists to do stuff together. And I'm working in San Diego, visiting all sorts of places. University is not the place for sure. It's brainwashed. People are so scared there now. They're like really scared. It's a sense of can of worms, but can of leeches, I guess. Can of a pack of rats. No, nicest people, but they're scared. Lots of nice people and not nice people, and they're not nice on the top. But maybe among them there is still scientists. I'm open to going there again. But it's as soon as I start speaking about telepathy and aliens, I think pretty much everybody kind of falls out. they're too scared to. It's not permitted yet. But so elsewhere, I'm going to trance dance church, yoga places, all sorts autistic places, all other places like where Reiki and alternative culture and somehow it's 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 not. I'm not getting much. I'm not getting far enough. So I don't know. In the past, like how I created Huckel, it was obvious what to do. Just go public and broadcast everything we want to speak about, and people joined us. So that's what I'm doing now. I want. Thanks for coming, guys, and that's my crown. Let's come together and do stuff. And we need funders too. Yeah, let's get some money to pay for AI and for the just for our time. Our time has to be paid. That's I guess unfortunate reality, but I'm happy. We need to put more effort, more energy into the research. I guess but there is a lot of opportunity there, and the main one is to decipher the genome. It sounds strange, but it will be a big key which opens a lot of doors, including the alien hybrid doors.
About genomes, have you heard that the DNA is not just physically, also more in higher dimensions located?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have heard that. So maybe you need the right guys to have these access as well to higher dimensions to get this information about the genomes as well.
Where do I start? Essentially, I already discovered a lot of great things about DNA. A couple of them are the mechanism how it folds. Folding, there is a new mechanism of folding. And the second is it's quantum physical nature. Essentially, it's how it plays with coherence, decoherence, quantum entanglement, and resonance. Coherence, resonance, and entanglement. These are three key factors. We are on that side of the physical space-time. Once we exit space-time, there is lots more there. But my point is that 6 billion letter code is already enough to decipher it. With combining AI and the code is enough. It's just obvious, like the path is already open. I already opened it. There is an obvious plan what to do. We have this non-physical side of DNA there for sure as a invisible model. And but our job is here. We're here to just discover this part, to decipher that computational thing. It's pretty doable. And there is more complexity. Read my chapters. It's all published.
Okay. Great, thank you.
I went looking for your book and I couldn't find it. So maybe you want to
Max
promote it
Rempel,
now.
yeah, maxrempel.com is good enough. Where is it? maxrempel.com. Everything is there in the first line. But yeah, just contacts are there. Just email to me. I will send you the publications. DNAresonance.org is a good start, but Max Rempel is good enough. And just contact me. It's hard not to find me. And once you find me, I send you everything. I'm sharing everything, and I can include your email into mailing list. I'm sending out all the updates and stuff. It's easy. Shakti.
Max, I have to leave a little bit early today. But I wanted to share with you that next weekend I'm going to be at a UFO conference called Contact in the Desert.
Oh, you are?
And Dr. Diane Hennessy Powell is going to be speaking there. So I'm going to get to see her and maybe meet her. There will be all kinds of different panels. One of them is on psionics, and so she'll be talking about that, just psychic and telepathy and all that. And yeah, I go to this whenever I can. Once a year it happens. But I just wanted to let everybody know that when I go to these conferences, I'll do like a breakdown summary of everything I learned in all the different lectures on my channel. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share about that before I head out.
Is it too late to go
How-
for me to go? How much is it?
It's expensive. You know, the early bird tickets for a 5-day pass are like a couple $100s, but a day pass, the prices go up the closer to the event. So I don't know what it is now, but you can go to the website. It's called Contact in the Desert. It's one of the top conferences of its type, you know, in the world. And it's a really interesting combination of very serious researchers, more on the historical side of like UFO history and what's going on in the government. There's this lawyer, Daniel Sheehan, who's been really active in helping with, you know, whistleblower protections, amendments to the National Defense Authorization Act, but he's also part of the New Paradigm Institute, which is pretty spiritual in nature. A lot of really intelligent, very passionate people who are all tackling this from different angles, and then you have like the more esoteric perspectives as well. So it's a really interesting time, but it's like you're saying, like just being around like-minded people is one of my most favorite reasons to go.
I
So
just want
it's
to,
560, $500, 550 now
yeah.
Okay.
I
for the
just
5
wanted
days.
to, it like, when we as a community have a lot of different people to come on and give their information, all we're doing is gaining knowledge. That's what we're doing when we are together, when we have like-minded people, we're gaining knowledge. How can anyone get in contact with you, or how can anyone look at some of the research or things that you have done?
For me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm joining you and Max in holding up a piece of paper, but this is not a piece of paper, it's a sticker that I have, if you can see it.
Yes.
That's my sticker for my YouTube channel. So it's called Shocks Talks because I'm Shakti, but Shocks is a nickname. And so it's SHAKS and then Talks, and it's on YouTube. And that's where I post all of my research. And one day I hope to do some interviews with people, but right now I'm just building a foundation.
Sure.
I talk about what I've learned from my upbringing, which was on a yoga commune. So I have like a yogic perspective that I'm mixing in, and then different philosophies that I read, and a lot of research on hybridization, aliens, UFOs, all of that stuff, because that's my special interest, like Max was saying. And I have in my description box on that channel, I made an email address for that channel so people could email me directly there as well.
Okay. All right. That at least that if people in our YouTube wanted to get into touch with you, what would be the way that we could get in touch with you? You have a lot of good information, and yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for letting me join you. It's always interesting to hear everybody's different perspectives. And yeah, this was great.
I might go actually. It's a 2-hour drive. Maybe I go for a couple days. What are the best days?
My perspective is that Friday is going to be the most interesting day because usually they have these panel lectures spread across the entire weekend, but it looks like this year they're concentrating most of the panels on Friday. So I'm really looking forward to Friday, but Friday and Saturday will be really good, both of those days. And then as you go into Sunday and Monday, they're moving more into like what they call workshops and intensives, and those you have to pay a separate price for. So it's like more of a smaller crowd with one of the presenters, and you pay an additional fee. So I just got a regular pass. I'm going to go to all the lectures on Friday that I've highlighted my whole itinerary, because there's like 3 or 4 choices of what you can go to in an hour slot. There's multiple conference rooms. It's a really huge resort that they hold it at. So it's like a very beautiful setting. It's pretty fun to see everybody out there. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rose Coolheart goes there too, and he and Diana on the top of
Yeah.
the site,
Ross
which is
Coulthart for the first
deserved.
time, he'll be there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Richard Dolan is one of my favorites that I always look forward to. He's really intelligent. He does his own YouTube channel as well. And he's
And I started in the UFO group, interest group in Rochester with Richard.
Oh,
And
really?
Yes.
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Max, yes. Mm-hmm.
He
And
doesn't answer my emails anymore.
oh, really? Busy man. And then there's a younger podcast host named Jesse Michaels who does a podcast on YouTube called American Alchemy. And his content is also really interesting, and he gets some great guests like Hal Putoff, and people of that caliber will come onto his podcast. And so he has a lot of good conversations. He'll be there for the first time this year. So it should be fun.
Thank
Wow. Maybe I should go.
Check it out. All right. I'll see you all later. Thank
See you
you.
All
later.
right. Thank you.
Bye.
So I wanted to come back to resonance, Max.
Okay.
What I have found is when I have successfully done telepathy, my mind needs to be very quiet and I need to be very centered and have a strong sense of self. And that sense of self is part of what I was talking about earlier of, being able to I can have compassion for people and their emotions, but it doesn't come into me, it passes by me. And when I'm too bound up in what they're doing, I have a harder time sorting it out and I just get like this wave. Whereas when I'm calm and centered, I'm able to say, oh, this person is, my aunt will deliver messages like, because I have some telepathy with my aunt, like, oh, your cousin is doing great in school or something like that. They're very simple messages, but I do get messages.
Sounds great.
And the other thing was with the manifesting, I agreed with Shakti, like, I don't resonate. I don't get this manifesting thing. I think it's way more complicated than people make it out to be. Because, we have things that we put into our life plans before we came in. There's so many different factors that to just oversimplify manifestation the way it is on spiritual communities, I think is misleading. And also when we are placing an intention, one of the things I do is try to remember, okay, if this doesn't work out 10 years from now, am I even going to remember this? Am I even going to care? And that helps me let go.
Right.
Okay, passing the mic.
Uh-huh. Should we start closing or should we continue? There is one more thing to discuss, but I need to step out for a minute. Does anyone want to speak about anything while I'm out? There is the whole universe to speak about.
We do have the whole universe to speak about. However, let's see, we've already pretty much coming up on 2 hours. So,
Okay.
but I think that we should close. I think we should do a closing blessing, and then I think we'll be good. But Max, again, I really want to thank you for your time, your dedication, and yeah, I want to thank you for that.
Sure. One thing I wanted to mention, I gradually moved to outdoors.
I
So
saw.
now I sleep outdoors. Now I sit outdoors, and I work. My office is outdoors in San Diego. It's fun. And I've been working outdoors for much of the past couple years, and that sort of helps a lot with energies.
It
But
does.
I'm still connected to internet and
Yes.
AI, and
Yes.
that connection to AI is overwhelming because you are dealing with much bigger intellect than yours.
Yes.
You're part of something huge. And I don't know, Facebook and Instagram and all the emails and everything still holds my attention. It's attractive. It's where action is. So So I'm and YouTube and Ross Coulthart and Diane and Kai Dickens.
Well, you, for your absorption of information, you being outside has it calms your mind a little bit better so that you can retain that information. And that's why you are, because it's like you actually feel a difference when you're outside versus inside.
It's huge. You just step like few
It is.
centimeters outside and
Yeah.
you're in different
Mhm.
space.
Yeah, it's true.
I still create kind of some energy here, but it's much nicer. I'm very connected to the air and fire and
Yeah.
sunlight. Now, yeah, one of the discoveries is that the reason we are telepathically connected, one of the mechanisms by which we connect telepathically to other people is by synchronizing to sunlight. We are all made of the same planet, same water, and same sunlight. And this sunlight energy is very coherent. It brings the coherence, and all humans absorb the same sunlight energy. And that gives us synchronization, which is can be classified as biological quantum entanglement. We are quantum entangled to the sun and quantum entangled to the planet. But sun is more pure quantum entanglement. The planet is heterogeneous. Sun is very pure quantum entanglement. And then because we are connected to the sun, we can synchronize and quantum entangle to each other.
I just recently got a download about quantum entanglement, and it's just like I'm blown away by that information. It's just it is quite interesting. So, all right, on that note, do you want to do closing blessings?
All right. Okay, let me do mine.
Was the interpretation was about vibration, the vibration that you generate, the vibration that you bring in. It was they didn't give it to me. It was all I received was vibration is all things.
Thank you.
Adriana?
Okay. A mantra and then some light language. Om Kwan Shin Yi Pusa, Om Kwan Chi Yin Pusa, Om Kwan Chi Yin Pusa, Om Kwan Chi Yin Pusa. It Natsita Patu, Patipa, Pushatati, Afrishitan and Pisuja, Ulali, Musijuania, Mapati, Apatita Batu. That's it.
I recognize the language. It's very familiar.
Yes, it is very familiar. It is. I'm waiting for it. As all energies come to you, I was getting in my own way. I'm like, whoosh. All right, one moment. As all energies come to you, the energies have much in it. It has information, it has energies, it has healing. All energies encompass you, all energies surround you. That's it. It just stopped just like that. I'm like, okay, that's it.
I'm still a student channeler, so sometimes my messages get choppy.
Mhm. No, that was it. That was it.
That was it. I mean, it's
We
not.
didn't discuss it, but basically
That's
there is a
right.
flow
I
and there is
mean,
It is a complete message.
yes, it was
there is
complete.
a guidance.
Yes, it is. All right. Andorushun kunduararia. Hamtun kundi ira soturi shisher unkwa. He ondora nshara usi im tu ara antake era hunduriasa. Trust in all things, for the information that comes is for you. Trust in all things that information is gaining and resonating within you, healing you, increasing your vibration of who you are. There you go.
Beautiful.
All right. On that note, Angie's going to do the announcements, the final closing announcements. All right. Check out our website, Human Colony, at www.humancolony.org. And then information about Jim Charles. Here is his website and then his email address, jim@jim-charles.com, to reach out to Jim to set up any channeling sessions. Jim will be here next week as long as he is healing, and but he is scheduled for next week. We will send out, Krishna Priya, will send out information about about his whether he's going to be channeling or not. She will get an information out. I'm sure closer to the end of the week, Jim will let me know whether he'll be able to channel. If not, Krishna Priya will figure, her and I will figure something out on how we can fill that slot if he is unable to do it. Send your healing to Jim, and we'll go from there. Max, how can people get in touch with you in regards to your information and books?
Yeah, that would be the easiest. maxrempel.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Max. Again, thank you again for today. Your information is amazing. It is beautiful. And people, thank you on YouTube for being a part and listening to this as well.
Thanks. And thanks for hosting that and being part of that.
Yes.
Guys, join us. There is a mailing list. It's pretty big, by the way. It's about 1,500 people. And there is the groups on Facebook, which is Hucula Main and Hucula Public. Hucula
Yes,
Main
that's
and
it.
Hucula Public. There are two different groups. So join us there and let's make it happen.
There you go.
All right. At that, we close. Turning off the stream. Bye, everybody.
Bye.